why you should join the Army. And why should you join the Army after what happened at Fort Hood? I want to say, don't let what happened at Fort Hood scare you or be an indication of what life is like in the military. It was one of those unique instances. It's not a sign of problems in the military. I saw a program about gangs in the military. It's like, oh, it's this epidemic. And to me, that's more of an isolated incident. People in the military and the Army, they're just too isolated. To have too many, or to have so many of whatever sort of group do this or that. But to me, when you join the military, the thing you're going to encounter is stress. You're going to see stress brought to yourself, and you're going to see stress brought to those around you. And this stress will be physical. You'll, in some cases, even chronic. You'll see people start suffering pain, and chronic pain. And that chronic pain is going to have an impact on your body. Because when you're in physical pain and that doesn't go away, your body's going to react. Your body is going to change. It's going to release certain hormones. This happens to any sort of biological creature. I took a psychology course, and it was sociology, no, psychology. And the professor talked about how they did an experiment on rats, and with rats, they wrapped them in a towel so the rats couldn't move. And then they left them there for an hour, a day, a week, a month, and euthanized the rats, and examined their blood, their brains, their bodily organs. And they noticed that, or they knew that if you wrap a rat in a towel so it can't move, can't do anything, that is a stress on the body and the physiology of that rat. And short term, the rat has a surge of adrenaline, to handle the stress. But over time, the stress doesn't go away. So the physiology of the rat starts to change, and the result is that certain bodily organs, parts of the brain, begin to change. They keep producing certain hormones, they stop producing certain hormones, this and that. When you get injured in the military, and there's a lot of injuries that occur in the military, and in particular with something to keep in mind, and this was mentioned by a doctor on the Dr. Phil show when they were talking about veterans, and Representative Bob Filner was brought on, and his doctor was talking about post-traumatic stress disorder. The doctor showed modeled human brain and said, the latest research is showing problems with the cerebral cortex, the frontal lobes of the brain, and which controls emotions and other things. And that seems to be where there's a lot of problems, and what could be the cause of PTSD. When you have explosions go off, explosions violently shake the air. If you understand physics, you understand that basically energy, sound, is waves of energy. And those waves of energy can be so strong that they can violently shake up anything in place. And this is both physical as well as biological things. So this can affect your body. In Israel, when they would have bombs go off, suicide bombers, bombs inside of buses, people around those explosions, they would not be physically hurt, but yet they would become sick, and in some cases even die. And the reason why is because of the violent explosions, or the shaking up from the explosion. It would shake up their bodies. It would shake up their brains. And now imagine soldiers in combat, Marines in combat. They're in this stressful environment. All this pressure is put on them, both externally and internally. So they're under this constant state of duress and stress. They're injured. Explosions go off, which shake up their brains. If your body is 85% water, that's and your brain is basically sitting inside of a little liquid sac inside of your thick, bony skull, and it's shaking around because of the explosion. That's going to cause damage to you or to the individual. And then you have this person go on repeated missions. To me, if you're going to go into the military and if you're going to be in charge, start the dialogue, start asking your superiors, start talking to people equal in rank to you, start talking to people below ranking you, and say, could we do something different? Could we approach things differently? Do we always have to have missions back to back? Could we start doing, like say, a 24-hour mandatory stand down? That after a mission, and especially if there was a lot of explosions going on, take that combatant, isolate them, take them away from the front, away from where there can be any conflict, away from where any mortars can get to them, and say, okay, for 24 hours, you're going to be here in this room. You don't have to talk to anybody, and especially make it so they have to talk to anybody, because if you talk to people, that's stress. It's just an idea.